Smart24, driving business.
Good morning. Welcome to SmartMen's Business. I'm Anchi Mariji. Yesterday is the 1st of May, and of course, it's the Labor Day. Quite very interesting, quite a little bit a cold one, and very early in this morning. And of course, the most important aspect is definitely celebrating the workers all over the world, but most especially when it comes to those in Uganda. And well, it's a public holiday, like I said, and not so many of you actually have been in position to get to report to your workplaces, or even some of the people that are self-employed when it comes to heading into their different businesses. But of course, above all, it's a new month, and of course, making sure that we put down the right strategies for our business prosperity. It's the second month of the second quarter of the year, definitely. So it's very good to try to examine your business. How far have you gone in terms of achieving what you intend to achieve? And of course, we're almost heading into the first half of the month. Still at the same time, that is something that should be of very, quite a key reminder when it comes to the end year goals that you set apart when the year was actually beginning. Very important into that. But of course, before we go into any further discussions, don't forget the markets on the Zabo platforms, which will be opening at 8:15 a.m. and of course *292# is the USSD code, which will avail you with quite lots of options where you can buy government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000. But you can invest more than that. But that's just the minimum requirement for you to buy the government bonds and shares. The markets open at 8:15 a.m. and closing at 3:15 p.m. and Monday to Friday, effective except on the public holidays and on the weekends when you can access the markets. Now, just like today being a public holiday, you won't be able to access these markets. But starting tomorrow onwards, till Friday, all those days are available for you to make sure that you can capitalize and make quite some huge profits right there. Zabo just made this a reality. It says my money, my future, and all Texas Africa says do something new. Well, first up, let's get into our first update. Definitely, I'll be returning for further discussions.
Inflation for the 12 months to April 2023 decreased to 8.0% compared to 9.0% registered for the year ending March 2023. This was mainly due to core inflation. Core has the highest weight in the CPI basket. So any change in that particular sector influences hugely the final outcome of the consumer price index. So core decreased to 6.8% in April 2023 compared to the 7.6% registered in March 2023. Under core, our major driver is the other goods inflation, which decreased to 8.8% from 10.4% registered in March 2023. Specifically, under the other goods inflation category, we have laundry soap inflation that decreased to minus 6.0% in April 2023 compared to 4.4% registered in March 2023. In addition, the annual inflation for refined cooking oil decreased to minus 9.0% in April 2023 compared to 2.8% registered in March 2023. The Annual food crops and related items inflation. Maybe to bring you up to speed, our consumer price index is disaggregated into 3 subcomponents. We have the core inflation, we have the annual food crops and related items, then we have the energy, fuel, and utilities. So the annual food crops and related items inflation decreased to 25.3% in the year ending April 2023, compared to 26.7% registered in the year ended March 2023. Cassava inflation, as a major driver in this category, decreased to 51.7% in April 2023 compared to 65.8% registered in March 2023. Tomatoes inflation registered at 26.3% in April 2023 compared to 33.3% registered in March 2023. This is a decrease in inflation as well. Eggplants and bitter tomatoes registered at 13.0% in March, rather in April 2023, compared to 30.1% registered in March 2023. The other subcomponent is the annual energy, fuel, and utilities inflation, which also decreased to 2.1% in the year ending April 2023 from 4.4% registered in the year ended March 2023. The main driver here is the solid fuels, whose inflation decreased to 6.0% in April 2023 compared to 7.2% registered in March 2023. Under the solid fuels, charcoal was the main driver, and charcoal inflation reduced to 2.5% in April 2023 compared to 7.7% registered in March 2023. Also, petrol inflation. Petrol is part of the liquid fuels, decreased to minus 2.9% in April 2023 from 0.2% that was registered in March.
That's regarding inflation in there, and of course it's very important to understand how far as a country we've come, depending on the different interval in the different months, as we've been seeing the inflation either increasing but by a slight increase and sometimes a reduction in that way. But anyway, before we get into any further discussions, it's exactly 21 minutes past 7 and still driving your business onto your daily Kickstarter. Now, at this very time now, let's get into to take a look at what's happening with that in the press. And firstly, of course, I'll be taking up a look at the new vision. As we see here, teachers probed over new curriculum cash. And of course, we know that there was money that was made, which was issued out to the different vocational institutes, to the different schools right there. And it was meant to facilitate for materials, most especially study-related materials. But some of the headmistresses of these different schools, what they did, they decided to actually transfer these funds to pay the staff, you know, and some of them, moreover, were not even on the government payroll. So we want to understand further of these discussions. How is it going to show up? And how is it going to turn out for them? And when it comes to accountability related cases. Well, now away from that, now we take a look here still in the new vision as we see UNRA procurement board summoned. That is over street lights, and of course these were lights in the city of Masaka, whereby there was purchase of substandard lights, which in later caused to loss of government, and in that way he was summoned for that. But of course, we'll be checking out more of the details regarding that story. What is the way forward as a result of procuring substandard lights? Now, here we still see President Yoweri Museveni, of course, expected in Namutumba for Labour Day celebrations. Of course, as Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate the International Labour Day. And of course, the international celebrations will be held at the Namutumba district headquarters. And the theme for this year's commemoration is promoting that as a positive work culture and ethics. Yes, I think that is quite a very outstanding aspect. All right, now for the sake of time, let me cross over to the New Vision as the Daily Monitor rather. I will take a look at what's making headlines. Of course, the labor rights drawn in C for no contract jobs. Yes. Quite so many people actually being employed on oral basis, not on contract. So you need to understand what does this really entail as we keep the discussion on flowing. Of course, still here we see the Law Society to sue individual officers. Of course, what was really committed in there, you'll be finding out more of the story details when you get yourself a copy. That is of the Daily Monitor. Now, the labor rights drawn in C, that is of no contract jobs. And of course, 7 in every 10 employed Ugandans are working without a written contract. Just like I said, most cases it's just oral discussion. And that is quite a little bit unhealthy when it comes to worker safety and security at the same time when it comes to jobs. And of course, still specialist doctors go on strike today. Over allowances. Well, more of those details we'll be checking out all the way. Still here in the Daily Monitor, we see the lecturers to go on strike over salary. Yes, something to also look into that. And the World Bank, of course, closely monitoring progress on the anti-gay legislations. Well, that's it for now regarding what's happening around the press. Now let's get into a short commercial break. Definitely, I'll be returning for further related discussions. Good morning.
Smart24, driving business.